It's Football Sunday, and the Dallas Cowboys have a new theme, Carpe Omnia. Specifically, I want to get into the history of this figure right here, a Sikh warrior. He's popping up on a lot of hoodies. So who is he? A 19th century Sikh commander-in-chief, Hari Singh Nalwa, who was a Sikh and so practiced Sikhism, one of the youngest and largest religions in the world. It was founded in 1469 in northern India by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. After meditating for 3 days, Guru Nanak proclaimed that there is no Hindi, there is no Islam, there is only one God and we are all equal before him. He claimed that he merged with God during his meditation, and that was God's message. He became a guru, a spiritual teacher, and his followers became Sikhs, or seekers of truth, or learners. He taught the equality of gender, class, religion, which was radical for the 15th century alone, but also particularly in northern India. There were two major religions, Hindu, which was what most of the native population was, and Islam, because of the Muslim rulers invading the territory. And eventually, as Sikhism grew over the course of 200 years, the Sikh teachings began to heavily conflict with Muslim rule, and eventually led to the executions of the 5th and 9th gurus. Compare the title guru to that of Pope in Catholicism. It's the lead teacher in charge. So them being martyred is a really big deal. The son of the last executed guru becomes guru himself next. This is Guru Gobind Singh. He is the 10th and final guru, and he has had enough, and so establishes the Khalsa in 1699. This is where it gets sick. Khalsa, he decides, is basically going to be a warrior class of Sikhs. It's an army that is going to defend its territory. In order to choose the original warriors, he drew his sword among a group of men and asked, who is willing to sacrifice his head? A man volunteered. He was led into a tent, and Guru Gobind Singh emerged alone with a bloody sword to the crowd. He asked for another volunteer. A man raised his hand. They were led into a tent. Sometime later, he emerges again, alone with a bloody sword. He does this 5 separate times with 5 different volunteers, and these men passed. These 5 men, known as the Beloved Five, would become the foundation for the Khalsa, and eventually would command over 80,000 warriors over the next few days. Now, upon initiation, the male Sikh warriors were given the title of Singh upon initiation. This meant lion. Singh marked them as a warrior, and still to this day, most Sikh men have Singh either as a middle or a last name. These warriors had to abide by a code of conduct: no heavy drinking, no drugs, no tobacco, no adultery, no cutting their hair. They also had a dress code, which included short breeches, a turban. One of the major 5K rules that they had to follow was they had to carry a kirpan, which was the sword that they used for defense and protection. Still to this day, most Sikh men have it. They also had a kada, which was a steel or iron bracelet on their dominant hand to remind them not to do harm with it. Once again, most Sikhs have it today. They said if we're going into battle, we're going to look good. So from then on until 1788, the Khalsa participated in hundreds of battles in the Muslim Sikh wars. They emerged victorious in 1788 when they consolidated rule over their territory, Punjab. And the Sikh Empire was created a decade later in order to unify standalone Sikh states. And just like any empire in history, once you finally have dominance, you want to expand. So enter our man, Hari Singh, who earned the reputation as the most feared Sikh warrior. Both his grandfather and father were outstanding fighters, so he did have a reputation to live up to. But history has it that the thing that made him stand out most in his youth was when he went hunting and a tiger attacked him and his horse. Rather than letting his fellow hunters help him and intervene, Hari Singh killed the tiger with his bare hands, sword, and shield. From a teenager, he earned the nickname Tiger Killer. And also, just as a teenager, he was responsible for one of the few defeats of an Afghan monarch in the Battle of Kasur in 1807. He conquered much of what is today modern Pakistan and expanded the borders of the Sikh Empire from the Indus Valley to the Khyber Pass. Before then, not many people used the Khyber Pass because it was a cesspool for criminal activity. Very dangerous. He brought law and order. He was also a builder. He built over 56 structures in his lifetime when he was governor over the territories that he conquered. Forts, towers, tanks, temples, you name it. But since he also built a mint for the Sikh Empire, he got his own currency named after him, the Hari Singh rupee, in 1821. But remember that Afghanistan is known as a graveyard for a reason. And in this case, while an empire didn't fall, Hari did. There is a joke that Alexander the Great was the last person to successfully invade Afghanistan. But Hari Singh made substantial efforts as well. You can see he was knocking on the door. His death ultimately occurred in 1837 during his death in the Afghan-Sikh Wars. Now, sources differ. The Afghans say that he was killed in a duel. Sikhs say that he was caught by stray bullets. Regardless, in the 3 decades that he was active, he was feared. He never lost a battle. He fought 22 and won all 22. So that's who the Cowboys got their new theme from. Carpe Omnia. Seize everything.